This is Don't Panic, episode number 185, recorded December 4th, 2017, Hawaiian Shirt Night. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, 4th, the technology podcast on Gadgets and You. I'm Sean Jennings, joined by two co-hosts who are also here. It's Colby Revenue and Dan Miller, and we're all wearing Hawaiian shirts. That's about as far as I got into the intro.
Now, as the person who didn't know about this until like 10 minutes ago, was this a plan that I didn't know about, or was it serendipity?
I guess it's not really fair to you, Colby, because we should have been more upfront with you about it. Most people don't know this. December 4th is the anniversary. Hawaii was added as a state in 1932, December 4th, 1932. And so we're wearing these in celebration of Hawaii's statedom. Hawaii was the 37th state added to the Union. A lot of people don't know that.
Really? That's pretty early.
Yeah. None of this is... I
was going to say, that...
No, that wasn't very nice.
No.
Was Hawaii pre or post Alaska?
I can answer this. Hawaii was... Oh, do you want to do bets here? Do we want to have a little...
I think... Oh, shit. I don't really know, actually, because I'm going to... I really don't know. It's a 50-50 toss, but I know they're 49-50, Alaska, Hawaii.
Yep, they're the same year.
I'm going to say Alaska technically was last.
Alaska was first, January 3rd, and then Hawaii, August 21st, the same year, 1959.
Well, that's close enough.
So Hawaii is the most recent U.S. state?
I believe so.
Wow. Who knew?
Very interesting. No, I have no idea what year it was founded in. I just made that up. No, the reason we're wearing Hawaiian shirts is because Dan is he's on vacation this week.
My staycation, Colby.
His staycation, and in honor of that, we're all chillaxing.
Unwind-relaxing.
Yes, exactly.
I was just thinking today about how tragic. I haven't watched 30 Rock in so long now.
It's not on Netflix anymore. How do you even watch it?
Well, I was paying for Hulu where it is on, but then I stopped paying for Hulu in October, so...
I think I gotta stop paying for Hulu.
It's been a hot minute. At least until, whatchamacallit comes back. Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, did you finish that? I got overwhelmed like 2 episodes in, and I had to stop, and I haven't gone back to it.
The show can be a bit much.
Does it continue to be a bit much?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you the truth, Colby. I'll shoot it straight for you. It doesn't get much. It's a great show. It doesn't get any easier to watch. It's not an easy to watch show.
I see.
I hate hard to watch shows. They just stress me out too much.
I think I need to find another person to watch it with or something, just so I'm not
alone with your thoughts afterwards.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we can
need some discussion. Maybe I'll watch it during the day at work and then talk to my
Yeah, see how that flies. I like that. I was going to say we could watch it and then we could do, a recap spin-off podcast, The Handmaid's Podcast, and do our own little recap.
We could.
For the show that's been out for a while and everyone's already seen.
Right.
You could call it a Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, hey. Wow. But only if we get to dress up in those fun little outfits. I've never seen it, so What do I know?
Well, that's an idea.
File that one away.
Yes, technically an idea.
If this whole Don't Panic thing doesn't pan out,
there's your $1 million.
I would love to do I don't know that it should necessarily be The Handmaid's Tale, but I would love to do a TV show watch-through podcast. Not in serial, but it would be fun to do a 1-season spinoff for some show that we all agreed to watch. Because I feel we all have strong opinions about things, and I would love to see that applied to a TV show, even though Sean doesn't like TV shows.
No, Dan, it's really easy, and you've already solved this. It's called Top of the Rock, and we review 30 Rock, and we just, I think it's, I think that's already a winning idea.
I'm 100%.
I know you
down.
have
I
opinions.
Subscribe to Hulu, but
Worth it. When we're rich and famous, it'll pay for itself.
You know what? Now this would be a good conceit for a podcast. You watch 30 Rock just on a cycle, one a week, until you just don't feel like doing it anymore. Because by the time you get around to the first episode again, it's been years.
I thought you were gonna say until you die.
Well, that's the best case scenario.
What is it? I know that there's a podcast where they watch Paul Blart Mall Cop once a year, every year. And it's the same movie one time every year, and that's the whole podcast. They do one episode a year, and it's them reviewing Paul Blart Mall Cop. And they've done it for 3 or 4 years, and you wonder, how long can you keep that going?
I'm pretty sure there's a West Wing podcast that sort of follows.
Yeah, and they had some of the original actors on it.
Oh, okay. I don't know if it's repeating. I think the repeating bit is the real trick.
Do you think that would be more or less fun to do with a shorter show? Like something that
I think
only went for a couple of seasons.
You've got two halves here. You what was that? There was one of my absolute favorite Radiolab episodes talks about this effect, and they illustrate it with a comedian, and he stands on stage and he sings a song. It's a really annoying song, and everyone laughs because it's stupid. And then he just starts over again once it's done, and everyone laughs again. And then by the third time, people are laughing less, and then by the fourth time, no one's laughing at all. And then by the sixth time, people are laughing again because he's been doing it so long. And then the seventh time, it starts to taper off, and the eighth time, people are really upset again. But now it's been like 20 minutes, and people are laughing again at how long. So if that's the effect you're going for, I feel like watching like a 1 season long show repeatedly, that could be pretty funny. But I don't know that that's a winning formula. I think that would be fun to do until like that proverbial 30-minute mark, when it gets funny for the fourth time. But how many times can that possibly be funny?
Good point.
I think you're making a bold assumption that it was funny the first time.
What was?
Whatever hypothetical show that we're creating here.
You don't have faith in us?
I think we're reasonable presenters. We've done 185 of these. I think we're okay. I don't know if we're... we've got people watching us live on Twitch right now who, by the way, are big fans of the Hawaiian shirts at twitch.tv/Don'tPanicShow. In the chat room, tell us, are we funny? I don't know. I would say we're...
Sean, I try not to ask questions I don't want to know the answer to.
Oh, I want to know the answer. No, because we're Colby. We're one of two things. We're either hilarious or... We're distinguished and have gravitas because we're delivering the news to people. So I just need to know, are we Cronkite or are we...
Remember, everyone who's going to answer this question, in order for that statement to be true, are we funny? It only requires that 2 out of 3 of us be funny. So,
that's right, majority funny.
Right. If one third is, then I can't... It's not fair to say that we're funny.
But I'll also say in the chat room, you should say who's not carrying their weight. So if somebody isn't being... Because we can bring in someone funnier and bring up that average to 100% funny. I'm just saying.
What if we just added a fourth person who's really funny?
Dilute it, yes. Yes, we'll have to add like 100 people and eventually we'll be funny.
This is like performance reviews. Like 360 reviews for your podcast.
We're stacking our podcast.
Yeah, so where are some areas of improvement you think we can work to? Percy in the chat room says we have our moments. I think that's the nicest thing that could be said. So
it's very generous.
That quite.
Take those.
Indeed.
Tech news.
Before we get tech news, my life is very boring. Okay.
How boring is it, Sean?
Well, it's so boring, Dan. I come to the show with these stories, and I feel like they never land, going back to how funny we are.
That's not a good way to start a story.
I see. This is what I'm saying. Apparently, we're funnier on game nights. Who knew? So, anyway, my very short story is I ordered on Black Friday one of the Wemo smart switches, which I picked on the show a while back, to control my Christmas lights in my house, and they were pretty cheap on Black Friday, and they're awesome, and I still love the one I have, and I got another one. I got the box today from Amazon, and it had 3 of them in it, but I only ordered 1.
Wow.
And
you
so
won.
I called up Amazon, and I was like, "Hey, Amazon," because my concern was they billed me for 3.
I know what I would do with those, but continue.
So I called them and I said, "Hey, you sent me 3. Did you bill me for 3?" And they're like, "No, it says here you only billed for 1. I guess you can keep them." I'm like, "Great." So, guys, aka Dan, what should I do with my extra Wemo smart switches?
Here's what you should do. You have one plugged into the wall, right? And you have your Christmas lights plugged into that.
Yeah.
Take one of the Wemo switches, plug it into the other Wemo switch that's in the wall, and then take the third Wemo switch, plug that into the second one, and then plug your Christmas light into that, and then it up so that you have to turn them on in sequence. It's like the nuclear codes where one person has to press it and the other. If those lights go on at the wrong time, that could be bad news, right? So you want to be extra, double, triple sure that shit does not go off unexpectedly.
Better idea, right? Let's one up our game here. You know how when you have to launch the nuclear bombs, they have 2 guys with 2 keys and they have to simultaneously turn them. I give each of you guys access, and we have to all simultaneously activate them.
Yeah.
This is a good idea. And then I'll have to call you and be like, all right, on the count of 3, everyone activate your Wemos. 1, 2, 3, and then all the Christmas lights go. This is so practical.
The beautiful part of this is if any of us, either of us, wanted to, punish you for some, slight that you did against us, either of us could completely turn off your Christmas lights. It doesn't take the other person. It just takes everyone to turn them on.
Wow, this is devilish.
Yeah.
Putting a lot of faith in you guys. A couple of schmucks in Hawaiian shirts.
I think that would be a really fun thing to do with that.
Cool.
Aside from that, I don't know. Christmas lights, I was thinking about this when I was helping my mom put up her Christmas tree. Christmas lights are the application of those things. So many other things that you would want to turn off with your phone or turn on with your phone that you otherwise cannot do not respond well to just having their power shut off, such as air conditioners, I don't know what else, stoves.
Yeah, well, that's I have no use for the other 2. I would love to. The only thing I could use them for would be lamps, but all my lamps have smart bulbs in them, and then that's like you're double smarting it.
Right.
It's too smart.
Never double smart.
No, oh no. Then that's how Skynet gets made, right? They get too smart.
I would support my idea. I think it could be fun to, if you could rig them up to. No, never mind.
Well,
could you? So, do you have the Christmas lights that you plug? You string them together, right?
You can, yeah.
Could you make a segment, 3 segments out of them, and each segment gated by one of the Wemo switches, and then make an iftitata that makes the lights go around in a circle, makes a cool little pattern out of it?
I can't imagine the lag would cooperate with getting them to do it in perfect sequence. But I love the idea. Even just to make them flash would be pretty impressive. A very expensive way
you could make your house one of those crazy flashing lighthouses with one half of the house lights up and turns off, the other half lights up and turns off. It'd be pretty cool.
The chat room thinks we should send one to Matt and just see what he does with it.
That's another really good idea, actually. Send it to him. Just don't give him the original packaging. Just send him it in a shrink wrap thing, and just see what he thinks it. Can even figure out what it is.
I feel like that's a great idea for a podcast. Like you just send Matt a mystery box
and he just opens it
with no explanation, no instructions, and he has to figure out what it is.
That would be painful. No, we love Matt. That's not very nice. He's a good man.
Yeah, but and see, this would be a great audience participation podcast because audience members could send Matt things and have him try to figure it out.
It could be like a reverse call-in. So instead of Matt giving advice to people who call in, who call in help Matt figure out the stuff. So it's the audience participation. Where no, Matt, don't plug it in there. No.
Ooh, yeah. No video. So Matt has to describe with his words to the audience, like, well, it has 3 prongs and it's a box and you can plug another thing into it. It doesn't have any buttons.
Oh my god, that's like torture porn.
Is it a surge
that's
protector?
Terrible. That's awful. Oh my god, I'm nauseous at the thought. Wow. All right, enough of our ideas. That's not why people come here. They come here for the great jokes. No, that's not true. We're not funny. No, they come here for the tech news, and we've got some we actually have some this week in the rundown. For us to talk about. Not a lot, but I think there's some good stories in here. We've got Facebook Messenger for kids, Max getting hacked, selfie logins, all kinds of other stuff. I don't know, guys. Is there somewhere here you'd like to kick off the discussion?
You have a lot of underage stories in here this week.
Yes, it is a very kid-focused... Well, I guess we have 2 stories, but it is a kid-focused rundown.
I think we should go with that theme, and let's start at the bottom. Can you sue a 14-year-old for cheating at a video game?
Did you ever think you'd be asking that question, Dan?
You know, I've considered it.
When you're losing at Halo, you get so mad. You're like, can I sue this little jerk?
Right. And this is the problem with the internet is that the threshold for consequences. They talk about this in Roderick Online all the time. If you say something really annoying to someone or insulting, if you say something insulting to someone, really insulting, they can punch you in the face. Mm-hmm. If you annoy someone over and over again, they can punch you in the face. Online, you can still get proverbially punched in the face, but the threshold for that punch is so much higher. You have to do so much. You have to call the police on someone before anyone will bother to find you such that you could be punched in the nose. So yes, if there was some sort of recourse that I could have taken to silence these 8-year-olds when I was playing a lot of online games, I would be very interested in that.
Well, let me tell you how it would work, Dan. Epic Games, developer of the massively popular Fortnite shooter, which I've never heard of, but I guess it's massively popular.
I've never heard of it either, and I consider myself
This is the thing that people call PUBG, right?
No.
No?
That's called PUBG.
Oh, Fortnite. Sorry. I read farther down in it, and it said something about...
it heavily borrows elements from PUBG.
I get it.
Fortnite apparently has become a big breakout from Epic Games. Apparently what happened is there was a kid, a 14-year-old boy, who went ahead and downloaded some cheats for this game. Let's see. It attracts the software. The cheating software makes it easier to aim guns, allowing players to automate the act of defeating opponents. Epic decided to send a lawsuit against this kid. They claim not necessarily for cheating, but for the fact that he published a YouTube video explaining how people could go about cheating. They filed a DMCA takedown notice against this video. YouTube refused to take it down, and therefore they claim legal recourse to sue the kid under DMCA, which could carry a maximum penalty of $150,000. Now, the question is, the boy's mother says, no, it doesn't really work that way. You can't really sue a 14-year-old. They say because the kid did not develop the cheats himself. He did not distribute them himself. He only downloaded them and streamed himself using them. They also claim that because he's a minor, he can't legally agree to the end-user license agreement that gives Fortnite the right to sue, and the fact that...
So wasn't he technically then legally not allowed to play that game since he didn't agree to it?
You know, that's a good question, Dan.
Wasn't he supposed to close the window and delete the software from his computer?
Yes. He also wasn't supposed to cheat. So, they also claim that, given that Fortnite is a free-to-play game and the EULA did not contain an option for underage users to obtain parental consent, that he is not beholden to that agreement. It would also make it difficult for Epic to prove the act of cheating harmed its ability to make a profit, considering the game's revenue stream is restricted to microtransaction purchases of cosmetic in-game items, aka doesn't actually affect the gameplay. She also cites potential disclosure violation on Epic's part, including the company naming the boy and directly suing a minor, both of which are illegal in some states. Whoa. So, yeah.
Interesting. That's not where I thought this story was going. I thought some guy got fed up with a 14-year-old playing a game and sued him.
No, this is one of those crazy lawsuits you read and you're like, is this one of those like weird Supreme Court cases we'll eventually hear in 10 years about, suing minors and DMCA and, because they did, if he had just taken down the video like DMCA asked him to, Epic claims they wouldn't have sued him. But because he didn't take it down and technically violated DMCA, that they can sue him.
Weird.
I'm watching footage of this game right now. It looks really cool. You can build things in real time and build yourself a ramp up to an area that you wouldn't otherwise be able to reach. Looks pretty cool.
Apparently, it's very easy to cheat in. So
that's good to know.
That's what I look for in games. That's weird. This is so confusing. I don't even know how to feel.
Well, it's,
Seemed like everybody did something wrong and they should all just go home.
That is, I've learned, one of the tricks to lawyering is figuring out how everyone fucked up, and as a result, nothing, it's all null and void. That's how you get your retrials, that's how you get cases thrown out, that's how you,
I see. How did you learn that, Dan? Have you, defended yourself? Do you feel like you could defend yourself?
No, I would be very much incapable of that. My friend's going to law school, and I've been reading sometimes she'll message me often with a tech-related case that she's assigned to read. And when you're reading, if you go on the Wikipedia page for a lot of these things, the narrative is very straightforward. But you read the, write-ups of these things that lawyers are reading are the target audience for, then it's a lot more specific. So a lot of these cases are tied up in technicalities and are often never, or at least the ones that you're taught in law school are not decided over it turns out Sally was totally in the wrong and paid $500,000 in damages. No. Sally was in the wrong, but there's bias in the jury pool and
Well, I think Zach in the Twitch chat makes an interesting point. He says, but the thing there is they couldn't really know if the kid was of age or not. But it doesn't make it right to sue him. And you brought up that point, Dan, as well. Should he have even been playing the game if he's 14 years old? But the law is very weird. We'll talk about this when we get to Facebook Messenger for kids. Is there's a big difference between something being targeted towards kids and not being targeted towards kids. And it's kind of a loose definition, but in the same way you or I, when we go to any website, they don't ask us our age. But if you go to a Nickelodeon.com or a site that's targeted towards kids, they will ask you your age. Or if you go to an alcohol brand website, they have to ask you your age. It's a targeting thing, and because this game wasn't specifically targeted towards people that are underage, it's entirely possible that they didn't know what age he was, but they also didn't really have to ask. It's not, as far as I understand it, it's not illegal for him to play the game, but you're right, in terms of accepting a legal EULA, that's where things start to get dicey because, without a parent signing off on it, it's like a contract, and then things get kind of...
Didn't you say, though, that the EULA lacked a venue through which the parent could give a child permission,
yes,
thus invalidating the EULA? Right.
Yes. Yes,
So-
and I would be surprised. And Percy in the chat room brings up COPA, which, again, will come up as we talk about other stories, but the Children's Online Privacy and Protection Act, the federal law that protects underage children from being exploited online. It's why 13 or older you have to be to sign up for many things on the internet. 14, you still can't do certain things. But that's the law that protects that.
Neat.
Yeah. So I mean, he probably should have just taken down the video and not been a schmuck about it. I mean, that I don't really have a problem that he cheated or that he published it, but I guess I guess what part of DMCA was he violating? I guess it's illegal to post gameplay footage, isn't it? Did they end up settling that?
I don't know. I don't know that it's been decided, but I think it can be. It's not clear whether it is or not. But if a company decided to sue you for it, I think that whether that would hold up is still up for debate.
Well, Epic says it's copyright infringement is what they're partially suing him for. So,
but I'm still in the midst of reading the Console Wars book, so this might get decided. But they had a whole section in there about not pirating, but like reverse engineering the console so that people could develop their own games for it, and that was a copyright thing, right? So under what grounds were they suing them for that, and could they be using that same mechanism here? Because cheating is a form of reverse engineering.
Yes, you are correct. But I don't know because I'm not.
Shrug.
Yeah.
We should get my lawyer friend on here.
Absolutely, probably better than us to discuss these difficult topics.
That would be.
But just don't cheat. Just don't cheat.
Cancel.
How about that? Just don't cheat, and don't publish videos saying how you cheat, because that's kind of a crappy thing to do.
Is it cheating if it's in the game?
Well, it's not in the game because he downloaded
This is a
some
big
special
video game
software.
for
No, he downloaded special software. That's cheating.
Okay.
You know, if you use like errors in the game to get an advantage, I don't really have a problem with that. But downloading extra software that busts up the code, that's kind of just it's kind of a shitty thing to do, I think. Anyway, just
It is weird. I feel like I haven't used like cheats in a game since like games you didn't play the games with other people.
What do you mean?
Like, I don't think I've used cheats in a game while I had the access to the internet. Like, I've never cheated on a game that I was playing online multiplayer with.
Oh,
people.
yeah. Well, because it's oftentimes impossible.
Mm.
or who cares? Get a life, Jesus! Like, you're 14. Like, just don't be what a fucking.
But that's
what a
that's
dick.
like
It's
you're
really hard for
14, like, what
14-year-olds
else
to
do
not
you
be
have to do?
assholes.
Yeah.
And not only are they assholes, then they make videos about it and publish them on YouTube. Ugh, kids these days. Speaking of kids these days, Facebook Messenger for kids. Let's continue on.
Yes.
All right.
Get excited because Facebook Messenger is going old school. And by old school, I mean young school, and young school, I mean children. Facebook today announced a new version of its Messenger chat app designed for children ages 6 to 12. 6. Oh my goodness. It's called Messenger Kids. This is very important as we talk about what you can legally do with and without children. Users under the age of 13 today cannot legally sign up for a Facebook account. That is a rule. You can't do it. People do it, but it's illegal. You're not supposed to do it. So the way this works is the kids do not get Facebook accounts. Instead, their parents sign up for the app using their account and simply authorize the kids to use it. The parent can then control which friends and family members the child is able to contact. Now, the app will only be available in the US. It's on iOS in preview now and eventually on the Amazon App Store and Google Play Store in the coming months. It offers video and text chat along with masks and filters and all that kind of goofy stuff, a library of kid-appropriate and specially chosen GIFs, frames, stickers, masks, and drawing tools. It also gives parents the ability to control a child's contact list. And parents must, as I said, authenticate it with their Facebook username and password, and only then can an account be created for the child.
So, what do you think the target age range is for that? Because in my mind, at a certain age, well before 14, the kids will just open their own Facebook account. It's as a way of getting around the restriction that their parents have set the pool of people they can be friends with. But it's not 4-year-olds, right? You have to be typing and have friends, frankly. So, like, what is this? Like 8 to 10? This was the part of this I really didn't understand. Never mind, like all the stuff surrounding it.
Well, there's an interesting stat in this article. Facebook did a study that showed 3 out of every 5 parents saying kids under 13 are already using messaging apps, while 81% say their kids started using social media apps as early as 8. So I think you're right. I don't think the 13-year-old... This is kind of one of those things you have to look at and say, is this just Facebook trying to not get in trouble with the law by saying we have it, and even though no one uses it, we have it sort of thing that these companies do?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Cover your ass.
Well, it's kind of like the YouTube Kids thing, where they just had their big controversy, and it's like, well, YouTube can point and say, oh, we have the nice kids section, but they don't really monitor the rest of YouTube, you know?
But that makes sense, because it's easy to hand a 5-year-old an iPad, and they can press around and watch things move on the screen. A 5-year-old can do that. A 5-year-old that I'm not an expert, I don't think can, like, understand, oh, I'm friends with Sarah, and she's over here, and I can message her to talk about what? Like, so, it doesn't make as much sense to me as YouTube for Kids does.
Mm-hmm. I'm just an old man about it. I just don't... Okay. I really try not to be the guy who's like, oh, the parents are just giving their kids iPads and they're not going to know how to talk to people and, you know, that sort of bullshit. I don't like to be that guy. I don't think kids that young, even at 6, 7, 8, should talk to people through chat apps. I just think I do somewhat worry about younger generations not having the capability of being able to talk to people in person. I'm frankly not very good at it, and I grew up in an era when people still talked on the phone. So I think doing it at such a young age I don't think is a great idea, but I'm also not a child psychologist. I don't have children, nor do I spend any time with children. So maybe I'm not the best judge of that. I don't think, I get as you get up to 13, 14 and you're in school and you have social lives and, you know, you're spending all day around people doing that. So it's a little different. You're doing that outside of school, hopefully, although I know they do it during school. I just think that once you start to get that 6, 7, 8 range, it's like, really? But I guess it's better to have the kids app than no app. Colby's got his hands up because I've ranted long enough. So please, Colby.
So here's a different perspective. What if it has nothing to do with the kids and has everything to do with convincing the parents to use Messenger over some other messaging app?
Get them locked in early.
Right. So you have a kid who is 8 years old, has some device, or is, 8 or 10 or whatever within this range, like has some device, and you want to be able to text chat with them somehow. And Facebook has this option that makes you feel good about it for one reason or another. So you choose to use Facebook Messenger instead of, I don't know, like Kik or WhatsApp. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're basically using Facebook Messenger anyways, but yeah.
That is a very good point.
So this is for parents talking to their children?
It's kid to kid, relative to kid. I don't think I assume you will. Well, I guess it's whoever the parent authorizes.
Yeah, the relative to kid thing, I don't know. It's been a long time since I was 8 years old. I don't...
Couple of years.
Yeah, but when we were that age, I mean, we're young guys, but we didn't have iPads and Facebook.
No, but AIM was still a thing when we were 8 years old.
And that was the Wild West. My parents
Yeah.
didn't know who I was friends with or what I
think
talked
I
about.
had used AIM when I was 8, but first of all, it was dial-up, so it was extremely inconvenient. But I don't remember feeling very compelled by it at the time. But maybe that's just me.
No, I
I think the relatives thing is interesting. Like, I could see if you have a niece or nephew and you're like, oh, I'm gonna send so and so a message and see what like garbled English I get back from them that passes for a thought. Like, okay, that's kind of cute. But I don't know. I would be curious. I would be curious to know what the like bar chart of ages for when these kids register Facebook accounts right now is.
Mhm.
You can assume that lifting the restriction will raise that a little bit, but if the numbers are super low right now at like 10 years old, then I think that this doesn't make much sense for as a product towards those kids. If that number is really high and that's when people are really starting and you want to get them in even earlier with this, I think it makes sense as a product for them and as a product for Facebook. The relative thing is interesting too.
I wonder if this sort of thing, if you can do this sort of thing with like, I don't know, like with the iOS parental controls, right? Like, can you say like who a device can message or something, or is this like not available at all? I don't know. I've never used parental controls.
I guess my issue with this is unattended devices, I guess more so than the app itself. Like, I don't really have an issue. I think, Dan, you kind of made the point that, yeah, there is something appealing about an app where you only talk to relatives and it's not a wide open Wild West. But the second you put them on an unattended device, then I guess parental controls only will go so far unless you're actually limiting what they can say. All of a sudden it's, oh, look, here's the new Facebook Kids app, and, I'll approve Aunt Joe and, Uncle Steve and, nice next door neighbor, former now disgraced Alabama Supreme Court Justice Roy Moore. Oh, no, what is he saying to my 14-year-old? And all of a sudden you've got issues, you've got problems. So I'm just, I don't know. I'm going to continue to be a prude, and kids under the age of even 13 should not really have their own devices. But that's whatever. I don't think it's a terrible idea. I don't think Facebook's had much worse app ideas. So I'll let them have this one. I don't. They gotta do something, because it's time and time again, kids signing up under the age of 13 is a problem for them, because if it gets to a point where the FTC notices, they will get sued. They will get in trouble. And so they have to at least claim they're doing something. So I think that, and I think Colby's point of get them while they're young, I think it makes sense for them. But anyhow, not for we're a little outside that age demographic. We'll have to stick with a regular Messenger. We have time, I think, for one more story. Looking at the clock here, is there anything?
Should we talk about the Apple stuff?
We can try.
Yeah.
It is technical, but we will give it a shot. It's been actually, first of all, can I just say, am I the only one who thinks iOS 11 is kind of crappy?
Yes.
I don't think it works very well.
What doesn't work?
What in particular?
See, I knew you were going to say that. Now I got to pull particulars out of my behind, but it just doesn't feel like it works as well.
Man.
I will say I have a ton of crashes lately. Like Slack crashes constantly, and I don't know why.
That could be Slack's problem.
I don't like.
Oh yeah, it could be, but I mean, it seems to have been correlated with the iOS 11, which again, it could still be Slack's problem. It just happens.
I've had no problems.
Weird stuff happens when I try to delete apps. It doesn't work right, and I don't like the new control center, and it just does weird stuff. Anyway, the only reason I say that is because Apple's had a lot of issues in the past couple weeks, starting with the Mac OS High Sierra security vulnerability. Someone on Twitter went ahead and just published the fact that you can just remotely log into any Mac. When the problem is exploited, the user is authenticated into a system administrator account and given full ability to view files and even reset or change passwords for pre-existing users on that machine. You can do that remotely just using sort of the blank default username and password, the root password that's included on the machine, which is bad.
Whoops.
Yeah. Did you read the explanation of this?
No.
So it's a classic. Someone like disassembled the system preferences thing and looked at how this bug likely happened, and it was because of a thing where you like check like, oh, is this a user? And you success is 1, yes, this is a user, and failure is 0, no, this isn't a user, but they just got the thing backwards, so that when they thought that there wasn't a user, there was, and thus allowed you to create that user, or something like that. It was like a one-line mistake.
Very tricky.
Yeah.
Sad times.
Zach points out in the chat, I love how this was originally just casually mentioned on an Apple support thread where a guy lost both of his admin accounts, and that was the suggested solution. So, you know, that's how
I didn't realize that was the context.
This was also the same week we saw an iOS 11 bug in 11.1.2 that caused iPhones to crash repeatedly once the clock hit 12:15 a.m. on December 2nd. The bug appears related to third-party apps that use recurring local notifications for things like reminders. Afflicted iPhone users have been turning off notification or setting the date back, but they've released 11.2 to fix it, which is now available out in the wild. This coming on the heels of several other odd, strange bugs, including when the word "it" was autocorrected to I.T automatically.
I forgot about that.
The
that
iOS
that was
11...
like a week of my life.
The autocorrect bug where I was A and then that question mark thing.
Fun times.
So I didn't have this happen to me, I guess because I don't use these recurring notifications, but I did have, there was that time like January 1st, 2010, 2011, 2012, somewhere in there, that iPhones, like the alarms just wouldn't go off on January 1st. So everyone who had set an alarm December 31st and then had to wake up on New Year's just never went off. That affected me. This one did not.
That got me too.
I wonder what was special about December 2nd that triggered this. Do we know? And 12:15 a.m. Like, I expect these things to happen around daylight savings time and year boundaries. But this isn't even a month boundary, and it's not even midnight.
Yeah, not that I can...
Interesting.
I don't see anywhere exactly what's so oddly specific about that. That's a good question. By the way, 11.2 also brought, although it's not fully out yet, Apple Pay in...
Yeah, I was looking for
iMessage
that.
and
Didn't
fast
see
wireless
it.
charging. It's not like live yet. I think it's in there, and they just haven't flipped the switch yet. They're probably fixing
it's live
all
for
these
me now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh shit! That is creepy timing.
Awesome.
Oh,
I'm gonna make some Animoji and then send my friends money.
Send them Animoji asking for money. I'm a chicken. I would like some money, please. Dope. Well, this is good. I don't have mine up and running yet. Otherwise, Dan, I'd say you should send me some money, but
Yeah, I will.
next time. We'll get you next time. And fast wireless charging as well. So if you're looking forward to that with your fancy new iPhone, you can get that as well. We can't hear you, Colby. You are muted.
Does fast wireless charging work with any wireless charger or some or all? Should that affect my wireless charging choices?
So what I've read and what I've experienced in buying a couple of them is that if your phone is off the charger for the vast majority of your day and you just need it charged quickly, then you should get the fast one. But if you have one at the office and one at home and your phone is on it 80% of the day, it doesn't really need to be fast. I didn't get any. Oh God, Dan. I didn't get any fast chargers myself because mine's on the charger enough that it's not really necessary. Because they're like twice the price to get the fast ones. So
interesting.
It's not outrageous. And if you're only buying one, like I could get two for the price of one, and then I have one in the office and one at home. So
gotcha.
It's not that much faster.
I was considering, so you have some of these wireless chargers, Sean? Have we talked about this on the show?
We did briefly.
How are you liking it? Has it changed your life?
Look, I got a little Dan Miller emoji. He's a talking pig.
Ah.
Is he? Didn't send me any money though. Next time.
No, I asked you to send me money.
Did you? Did you request some money from me? Oops, I don't have it turned on. I'm so sorry, Dan.
I know.
No, the wireless charging's been great, actually. I have not plugged anything into my phone in like a month. It's been amazing. I'm wireless completely between my AirPods and wireless charging. I've got two Samsungs, one on my nightstand, one in the office, and then I have a wireless charging mount for the car. And that is it. And
That's really cool. I've been thinking about the wireless charging mount.
Well, you got to get the mount's great for the car. I cannot recommend enough the stand-up wireless charging for your desk. Like also because my smartwatch isn't very smart and doesn't get notifications anymore, thanks crappy iOS 11. To see the notifications on my phone and to charge it, it's propped up. It's in my eye line right next to my computer. I use that all day long, and my phone's always charged. So that's been sweet.
That's pretty cool.
So
nice.
I like our wireless future. Gosh, that's going to do it, I think, for tech news. We're out of time on that, but we are going to move into the other segment of the show, Picks, where we each come to the show with something to share and talk about, something we've been enjoying or have otherwise gotten excited about. I'm going to jump in and go first because, Dan, I think this may be the first time someone's like explicitly requested someone review something on this show. I can't think of another time.
Oh, yeah.
But Dan, you messed because I had heard about this, and Dan, you're like, Sean, have you tried HQ? And I go, no, Dan, I haven't. Oh man, you should check that out. I said, all right, Dan, I'll play it and I'll give you a full review. So, if you're not familiar with HQ, it's taking the web by storm. But it's essentially an app that is a live game show, and it happens twice a day. 3 p.m. Eastern and 9 p.m. Eastern, and you get a little notification on your phone, and you swipe open the app. And it counts you in, and then a little host comes on. It's like a live stream, a live video stream, and a little host comes on, and they talk to you, hey, welcome to HQ. We're going to give away some money today. And they ask you 12 trivia questions, and you have to get all 12 right in sequence. And if you do, whoever's left at the end splits whatever the money for. It's usually like $1,000 for that game. They split the money. So I've seen games where only 3 people win and everyone gets $333. I've seen games where 90 or 100 people win and everyone gets $10. And it varies by the show. Now, I've played it a couple times. The farthest I've ever gotten is 5 questions in a row correct. Because they start you out with a couple easy ones, and then there's usually 2 or 3 in there out of the 12 that are really hard. But you only choose from 3. It's multiple choice. So, I don't know, maybe some people are better at it than I am. I will say the concept is really cool. I feel the app is like 70% of the way to being a great app. It's very laggy. The video quality is terrible, and they have a lot of server issues, and sometimes the questions don't work. And I get it, they're growing very quickly. The games have like 300,000 people who play any given game. So it's a lot of people. They're serving up a lot of content. I also find the hosts to be very annoying, and I do not like them. And the games only last about 5 minutes. They're fast because you only have 10 seconds per question. And they're just really, really annoying. And I wish they were just like normal people and not really kind of obnoxious characters. But the gameplay is really fun. It's neat that it's only 5 minutes once a day, so you kind of get it, your phone buzzes. Oh, neat. All right, you jump in, you try a couple questions. Oh, I lost. You leave. And it's reasonably fun when the tech works. And so, yeah, I'll probably keep playing it for a little while until I get bored with it. But So far, so good.
Cool. Can you stick around after you lose and
Yes.
hear the rest of the questions? Okay.
Yep. So you can follow the game all the way to the end and see the questions, see how many you would have gotten. And there's also, which I haven't done, but you can get extra lives, which you can use to like, okay, you get one wrong, you keep playing. The good news is no microtransactions, so you can't buy them. Thank God. That would totally ruin the game if they ever did that.
Yeah.
But you can get them if you sign up other people. So if you two decide to sign up, please let me know, and I will send you an invite, and I will get some extra lives, because that's how you get those.
I am so bad at trivia that I will not sign up.
Well, the thing is, you just have to be good at guessing. As a lot of it, like what was it? The question I lost on tonight's game was like, what style of painting layers paint, in thickness for depth or something? And
Impressionism?
It was like, no, it was like 3 words I'd never heard of, and they were like really
okay.
specific. But it's a 1 in 3 shot, so I think you just have to be really good at guessing. But overall, not bad. It's free, and you can get it. It's on iOS right now. HQ. My mini review. Let's see, Colby. I see your little square highlighted here on the spreadsheet. What do you have for us to watch this week?
Indeed. So my pick is a YouTube channel. It's called Watch It Played, and so they post all kinds of videos, mostly about board games. But the thing that I would suggest people go there for is they do these sort of like review explanations of the rules of games. So if you have a game that you are trying to learn, or you're trying to teach someone a game or something, you can like point them towards these videos, which vary in length depending on the game, right? Obviously, some board games are super complicated, and they can get up to like 40 or 50 minutes, I think, these sessions. But I think most of them are like 15 to 20 minutes, it seems like. So they have these videos for all kinds of games, and it's super helpful if you're trying to like learn the rules to a game. The people are like quite clear and succinct, and they show all the pieces and like what you do with them and stuff. It's probably better than any person you're playing with could explain the game to you. So it's pretty cool.
Sweet.
What game have you been playing that you find a need for this? Just curious.
I don't think like it's not like I've been watching the videos over and over again, but I played a couple new games recently, and like instead of like reading the rules or having the people I was playing with like try to explain it to me, we just queued up one of these videos and watched it. Both of them were so this has happened twice, and they've both been like the shorter ones, like the 10 to 15 minute tutorial things. It was super easy.
I in my active imagination, I just like to see Colby going to YouTube and watching a video, and it's just, when you get to a space that's a ladder, you get to climb up the board. When you get to a space that's a chute, you go down the board. And Colby's like, oh, I get it.
Hence the name.
This makes, wow. Thanks, YouTube. This is great.
Yes.
Oh, we're not very nice. Watch It Played. We'll have the link on the website. It's youtube.com/user/Watch It Played, but we'll have the link on the website, obviously, as always. And Dan, you've got, I would argue very similar to Colby's pick, almost virtually identical, something else to watch. What do you have?
So, a couple weeks ago, and I probably should have picked this last week, but I forgot. I started watching Mindhunter, I think on the recommendation of Do By Friday. And it's really good. So the premise is it's based on a book, and it follows the true-ish story of these FBI agents who are part of this new fangled in the 70s new age notion that maybe we could use psychology to help catch criminals. And they are the people who end up coining the term serial killer, and it follows how they arrived at that, and like the real stars of the show are the serial killers that they interview, and the actors who play these serial killers are just incredible, and these scenes are so tense and bizarre, and like you're on the edge of your seat the whole time, and then they're talking about it afterwards. But those set pieces are really great, and the ending is. I'm a big fan of things like Twin Peaks, so I like these really conceptual TV shows, and I was shocked that at the end of it, I was like, wow, this was on the visual and like creative and expectation upending level of something like Twin Peaks at the end, but then you're going through it and you're like, oh, this is a, classic 2010 onwards period drama with a little bit of like the crime procedural thrown in, and then it's like, so it was really good. If you're into crime shows, if you're into really good acting, if you're into really stunning visuals and kind of bizarre TV shows, check out Mindhunter on Netflix.
Awesome. Very cool. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. I got to do the usual spiel and talk about a few things. First of all, our show, don'tpanic.io, is our website. You can go there and get all the episodes, as well as links to the picks every week, and, of course, all the information on where to subscribe, basically, and where you get your podcast. We're there, and also video version on YouTube. I'll do a little tease. We don't usually tease stuff on this show because we kind of do the same thing every week. But in roughly 2 weeks, it depends on we got to talk about this when we're done taping, but we have our annual holiday episode is coming up. The episode where we talk about each of us, we pick our biggest stories of 2017. We each pick a prediction for 2018, and we make our pick of the year, where we talk about the best thing of 2017 that we picked. And it's a fun episode. There's no news. It's just us talking about recapping 2017 and talking about what we look forward to in 2018. It's a fun one. I enjoy when we do that every year. And that'll be coming up on the feed in a couple weeks here. So something to look forward to. And any early thoughts on what your pick of the year might be? Anything to tease?
Oh, pick of the year.
Pick of the year. I know, it's a tough one. We've done like 50 of them. So
no, I definitely have to look through my corpus.
I think I already know what mine is, so I'm excited. And it doesn't, by the way, I don't know if we've ever talked about it, but I don't think the pick of the year has to be something we actually picked on the show. You can just pick like your favorite thing of the year.
Oh.
I don't know if that's been a rule in the past. I feel like in order
to really do that, I would have to look through my picks, because that is a good catalog of things I've discovered this year.
It's a good start. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. So look forward to that coming out on the feed in a couple weeks near you. Remind everybody, we do this live Monday nights, roughly, I'm going to say about 10:20 Eastern. At the moment at twitch.tv/don'tpanicshow. We appreciate everyone who joined us in the chat and live tonight. Thank you for being part of the club. But who knows when we're live? You should just follow us at Don't Panic Show on Twitter and email us don'tpanicshow@gmail.com. I will very quickly tease GameNights.tv, where we play Dungeons & Dragons. You should subscribe to that. That's a lot of fun. And UpForDebate.tv, where myself and Matt talk about whatever. Last week we talked about winter and our favorite things about winter, and I went on an epic rant about how much I fucking hate winter. So it was a fun episode. You can go ahead and enjoy that one. And we're not taping this week because I'm out of town. But next week, Matt and I are doing our holiday gift guide. So if you need tips from Matt and I, two guys who know how to give gifts, we'll tell you what the hottest trends this winter are, and some fun tips about how you can get some gifts on a budget. So you won't want to miss that. Up for debate.tv. All right, I think we've got to wrap it up here. Enough of this. We're done. We'll see you next time. On behalf of Colby and Dan, this is Sean. We appreciate you joining us. We'll see you next time for more fun discussion and tech news right here on Don't Panic.